reaching over to lovingly rub the girl's hair, as if soothing her imagination away. "But I saw it," the girl insisted, her voice growing louder with conviction. Her little head turned quickly, looking from her mother to her father with wide, questioning eyes. "You saw it too, right? Her father chuckled softly, shaking his head as he kept his eyes on the road. "No, my princess. That wasn't a ghost, it was just a young girl." "A young girl?" The child's brows furrowed in surprise, her voice trembling with concern. "What is she doing out there in the dark all alone?" She fidgeted in her seat, her face etched with worry. "Shouldn't we stop to help her?" The older woman straightened, her voice hurried and clipped. "No, dear," she said firmly, her hands folding across her lap. "Maybe it's a trap. Bad people sometimes use children to lure you out of your car. And when you stop, they hurt you." The little girl froze, unsure, before glancing again at her parents. "Mom?" The woman and the man echoed at the same time, glancing at the older woman. The young woman beside her glanced again toward the older woman and spoke. "No, dear, maybe you're right," she said cautiously. "Maybe she really did need help, but we've already passed her." The child's father exchanged a glance with his wife, his lips tightening as he considered the thought. The woman and her husband were not scared of stopping to help the girl. Their car wasn't alone. They had an escort vehicle trailing behind them. Still, they drove on, leaving the figure behind. The older woman, the grandmother, sat silently. She wasn't afraid, nor concerned about traps. Her voice, though calm, carried an air of indifference. She simply didn't like the idea of poor people getting too close to her family. To her, stopping was unnecessary. The car continued to hum softly as it sped down the dark road. Inside, the little girl wasn't having it. She shifted in her seat, pressing her face to the cold glass of the window. The world outside was quiet, shadows stretching across the deserted street under the faint glow of streetlights. "Mom," the girl whispered, turning her head, her voice trembling. "What is she doing out there alone? What if something bad happens to her?" Her mother barely glanced at her, exchanging a look with the older woman seated beside her. The older woman, the grandmother, gave a pointed glare to the young mother before speaking firmly. "No, dear, I don't think it's right to stop," she said, her voice clipped and authoritative. "She might be with the bad guys. These things happen, you know. They use children to trick people, and before you know it, you're in trouble." The girl's lips trembled, her small hands clutching at her dress as tears welled in her eyes. She turned away from her mother and faced her grandmother directly, her gaze wide and pleading. "But Grandma," she said softly, her voice shaking as emotion bubbled up. "What if she's lost? What if she's trying to find her parents? What if—" She paused, her voice breaking. "What if I was the one beside the road, and people just drove by me?" Her words hung heavy in the air, an unspoken challenge piercing the grandmother's composure. The older woman's face hardened for a moment, her lips pressed into a thin line. But as her granddaughter's tear-filled eyes searched her for